morning. Welcome to Art and Fashion. Today we are here with Jason Stewart. How are you?
Good. How are you, Dominique?
Good. Do you prefer Jay or Jason?
Jay is good.
Okay. All right. Now you're an artist. Tell me a little bit more about your work.
All right. I'm an illustrator and a painter. I love working with Indian ink on different sorts of paper. I also work with oil paint and acrylic. I do a lot of surrealistic imagery from my head. So it can be very like macabre type stuff from like strange animals like sharks coming out of ice cream trucks or pigs on wheels to a little more darker type of stuff like I'm doing a comic book based on like plague doctors. So I also like to do a lot of like Victorian type like portrait art, so I vary around a little bit.
Okay. What is your training like?
When I was young, I started out, I took classes at Hofstra, like for young people, like cartooning and illustration classes, and then after high school I went to School of Visual Arts and I studied illustration there, and then since then I've been working different art jobs from like kids comic books to fashion design, and now I do self-promotion.
Oh, okay. What is your experience in fashion design like?
It was pretty cool. I used to work for Nina Footwear. I don't know if you heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be one of their footwear designers. I was like their assistant for a little while. It was pretty fun. It wasn't, and I did some freelance. Freelance wasn't my thing. But, it was kind of like a job. Like it was good, but, I don't know if you've ever seen The Devil's Wear Prada, but I kind of lived through that, so needed a new, happier kind of change. So I decided to start doing the art for myself after that.
Okay. Are you pretty much full-time art now?
Yeah. I mean, for my day job, I'm a manager at Blick Art Materials, which is great because it's like
conducive towards.
Yeah, it's like the art hub of Long Island. So like half the contacts and networking I do through there. I probably even got to where I am now if it wasn't for that job. So it works very well. Plus, I have access to all the new supplies and stuff like that. And yeah, and then basically when I'm not there, I'm at home in my studio working my art. Promoting, marketing myself, and just trying to get myself out there.
Yeah. Where have you exhibited before?
I've shown in a lot of different places. I worked a lot of places in Huntington. I've done stuff like the Huntington, like their Spark Boom, shown like Massapequa, some other smaller places. I've done shows at Ripe Art Gallery. I have a big one next year, a solo show at Ripe, October 2016. But yeah, I'm always looking for places to show. I also try to get involved with the community a lot. So I'm working with the Westbury's Art League. I've done stuff for like I helped just judge the art competition for high school students at the Car Place High School. So that was a lot of fun. I like getting involved, helping, inspiring the kids and stuff like that.
Have you ever taught any classes, or are you more just kind of a guiding force?
Right now, guiding force. I've done some teaching. I've done, because at Blake's we get to do demos and stuff like that, so I've done a lot of demos where I get to teach and stuff like that. I like to get more into that, so that's definitely an option I want to explore.
Now, as far as your work, where do you get your inspiration from?
Yeah, a lot of it's just, I'll just be sitting around and be like, oh yeah, it's a good idea,
Yeah.
So, I mean, but sometimes it could be like history will inspire me. I'll just be watching documentaries and I'll be like, I was like, oh man, like I was watching a documentary like on the Black Plague, and there was a story about these three brothers and these three skeletons they met up with. I was like, that's really creepy. I'm like, that'll make a kind of a cool piece or something. So like, stuff like that, otherwise it's just random thoughts in my head.
Are there any other artists that have inspired your style, like aesthetically in your line?
Down the line, yeah, I think, when I was growing up, H.R. Giger was like one of my favorite surrealistic artists. I love Alien and stuff like that, and his very dark style, and the fact that it all came from out of his head. I mean, most of that stuff was from his dreams. So, and that's how I feel art. Like, what I love about art for me is just like, instead of drawing what's in front of you or painting what's in front of you, I paint what's in my head, so if no one see it, it's just pure imagination. And that's how he was, so it's just like almost like looking right into his mind. But I try not to follow strongly too many artists, get too connected, because I feel like I had that problem in the past and other artists had that. If you get too into following certain artists, then you start getting too influenced, and then it can show in your artwork. So sometimes I try not to you know, let this stuff influence me too much, so that way I have my more original spin.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, you said you were working on a comic book as well?
Yes, putting together, I mean, I do small underground comic strips. One I've done for years is called Grimm's Vile Tales. They're just little fun cartoon character type guys, like, you know, just doing weird macabre, you know, like filthy joke type stuff. But one I'm working on right now, I'm writing out the script, is it's about a plague doctor who lived in, you know, during the 14th century, probably second wave of the Dark Plague in Europe. And he's based off a real-life plague doctor named Giovanni de Ventura. And he was a doctor at this town called Pavia. So it's just more about how his experiences, how he tried to live through that, because it's a very, you know, those are, you know, the beak doctors, those long beaks. They had pretty horrible lives. They lived in isolation, you know, they only did it to try to better themselves career-wise. But my character has it where he kind of goes a little crazy, like, because in real historical times, the beak doctors, they would put herbs in there to kind of purify the air. Well, my character, well, he starts putting these hallucinogenic herbs in there, and he starts going crazy. He starts talking to dead people, and the townspeople, what's wrong with this guy, you know? And then it just escalates.
So if somebody wants to see your comic book, where is it available? Is it online? Are you going to print it?
Yeah, it's going to be printed right now, because I'm just doing my research, because, you know, I'm trying to get down the fact how the lifestyle, how people lived back then. I just don't want to make a fun comic book like, hey, I lived back then, you know. I want to make it like this is accurate. How people lived back then. So right now it's just a lot of research. But yeah, it's going to be online. I mean, I have a Facebook, I'm in Instagram, and I have a website. Probably the easiest way to find me is just when you go on Google or Yahoo, just put in J Stewart, that's J-A-Y, Stewart, S-T-U-A-R-T, art, and all those will come up.
Okay, what is your like link on Facebook?
It's facebook.com/J-A-Y, Stewart, S-T-U-A-R-T, .art.
Okay, and do you have a website as well?
Yes, we do. It's jstewart at Wix, actually, I'm sorry, jstewart.wix.com/art.
Okay. Have you done any commissioned work?
Oh yeah, I do commission stuff. I'm actually, I have a few right now I have to take care of. Yeah, I do a lot of commission work. You know, I do pretty fair prices and stuff like that. You know, be anywhere from like movie like type posters. I've done like album covers. I'm actually working on a film storyboard right now. So yeah, definitely.
And if somebody wanted to contact you about commission work, what's the best email address or number to reach you at? Yeah,
you can reach me. My email is jaystuart1977@yahoo.com.
Now we all know how old you are. No?
Oh man, yeah, that's right. That's yeah. I trick people with that a lot.
So you mentioned a couple of exhibitions you've done before. Is there anything up and coming that you're looking to do other than the Halloween exhibit at Ripe Art Gallery?
Yeah, well, there's, I hear some friends putting together at the boutique, you know, something up over there. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm also going to be doing a fair later this month at Westbury. You know, they're going to be doing a street fair on Post Avenue. So I'll be looking forward to that. And then I'm always keeping an eye out, you know. I probably got, now the weather's nicer, I'm going to probably take a little trip in the city, make some contacts out there too. You know, but yeah, I'm always, and I probably have some demos going on. I have a demo planned at Blick probably next month.
Okay. And are you ever looking to venture into new mediums? Have you ever tried?
Oh yeah, I'm always playing with new mediums. I mean, like when I was in training, it was mostly just ink, you know, ink and pencil, and a little bit of acrylic. But now I've dabbled into oil painting. You know, I play with you know, a lot of watercolors. I do a little sculpture as well. So, but yeah, anything. Because to me, they're all just tools for creating anyway. I mean, give me a stick and mud and I'll make something out of it, you know. You know, but yeah, just anything I can work with. I love to get into airbrush, you know. Someone want to give me one, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask if you ventured into sculpture at all.
Yeah, I've done some sculpture work before. I have this little guy on my card here. I made a little sculpture of this guy. It looks just like, you know, can't see him, but, you know. But yeah, I've done a little sculpturing before. It's pretty fun, you know.
And you venture into, like, film, video, photography or any more like 4D type work?
Not that. I mean, I'm totally open with that. Like I said, I've done some storyboarding and stuff like that, so it's probably closest like film-wise. But you know, probably wouldn't mind doing a little acting. I'm very animated, so you know.
I can see that going very well.
Yeah. So I have my friends like, yeah, someone should be following you with like a YouTube channel or something, you know. But then the guy with the butterfly net's gonna find me, and I can't have that.
Yeah. So you did say you mentored some students with Blick and, you know, with the judging of things. Do you have any words of inspiration for young artists looking to find their path in
yeah, you know, it's just, you know, stay strong, keep at it, practice every day. You know, like if you want to be, you know, professional, if you were a professional swimmer, you would swim every day. So you got to do that for your art. You know, you got to take it seriously. Unfortunately, with young artists, it's like a mentality which, you know, that kind of holds them back. When you get older, you kind of shake it off, so they just have to stay tough, you know, keep through that. I look at it as like you shouldn't really be competing with other artists, you should be competing with yourself, you know. Don't try to be the best artist out there, try to be the best artist you can be. You know, don't look at failure as, you know, as a bad thing. Look at it as data collecting. When I mess something up or I fail at something, I don't go, oh, that's it, I'm done. You know, I look, I'm like, all right, now I know what to do to better it next time. You know, like probably the best line I've heard was the difference between a master and a beginner is the master's failed more times than the beginner's even tried. So
that's a good line.
Yeah, it is. You know. So, you know, you just keep at it, you know, you got all these, especially nowadays, I think it's a great age to be an artist because you got the social media. When I was going to art school back in the 90s, it's like we had none of that. If you wanted to self-publish, you needed a ton of money, you know, the only people I knew had put together like a comic book and got it out there were these few rich kids, you know, so now you don't need a company to promote you, it's just all about yourself. But, you know, you definitely want to make it half artwork and half marketing. You know, you can't just do artwork, kind of, you know, and be non-social and expect things to happen. It doesn't work that way. Because if you have better PR skills and better marketing skills and not that good of an artist, you'll probably do better.
Yeah, you just have to put the work into it to put it out there to be seen amongst all the other artists that are now capable of.
And it takes a long time. Like, you know, every artist that everyone looks up to, they're not like young themselves. They've been doing this for a long time. So, you know, you got to look at it that. It's just like it doesn't happen overnight. It takes, you know, I've got into, you know, out of the, you know, working for the man or whatever you want to call it, you know, doing, you know, artwork for other people and start doing it for myself like the last few years. And it's a building process. I feel like now I'm just starting to scratch the surface, but, you know, there's a long way to go, but you just got to really keep at it. And, you know, just don't get discouraged. Don't, you know, look at other people's success like, oh, they're doing so well. Use that to motivate you, you know?
Yeah. Do you have any bodies of work that have a common core or theory or series in them, a common concept?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of my series, I mean, I have a papyrus series, which is all like, you know, that's for like my love of history. Those weird macabre animal, like the shark head, like, you know, those are just weird imagery with just weird innuendos coming out. And then I have another series I'm actually working on. It's based off reflections. So it's just basically people looking in mirrors and just kind of seeing how they see themselves, you know, like one guy just like staring at a big window mirror and he just sees like this monstrous form of himself, you know. I did the same, like a sketch of like a child, you know, like just holding hands of his mother. He looks in the reflection. It's like this little demon kid looking back at him and stuff. Probably me, you know. But you know, so yeah. I mean, they all have a type of theme, you know. Because I'm a true Libra. I have a very light side and dark side to me, so it kind of shows on my work.
All right, Jay. Well, thank you very much for giving us some insight on your artwork and where you've come from. And anything else you'd like to add to our little interview?
I think that's great. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. It was great to hear about your work, and we look forward to the next episode of Art and Fashion. Thanks for tuning in.